Yo, welcome to Alpha Omega University. We're back today. I wanna announce we actually hit over 200 followers on the last stream. We hit over 200 followers, so I appreciate you guys for that. We're at the 2-month mark of the stream, right? So the first stream started in February 27. So we're now in April 24. So the next episode is gonna be after the 27th. So basically, we've hit about 2 months now. So in general, we're averaging about 100 followers per month of streaming. So it's not bad at all. I love it. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate all the love and support. Today we're gonna keep it rolling. All right, and we got some good videos today to review. Today is VOD review Monday. All right, we got VOD review number 7. I know the schedule says number 8, but we skipped one a couple weeks back because the schedule got shifted, and we're actually gonna skip the next one next week as well. So we won't have another VOD review Monday until 2 weeks from today. But it's all good. I am currently working on the next set of schedule. All right, I'm writing about 20 or so more episodes. Okay, so it's taking some time because I want to make sure that the episodes that I bring to you guys are actually like well researched and well put together, and it's actually information that you guys are actually going to benefit from, right? So similar to the episodes we've already been doing on the schedule already, how there's a structure to it, there's a flow. And there's information that we can kind of use on a day-to-day basis, right? So putting all those things together, it takes time. But I am almost done. Making the next schedule. So you guys should be able to see the schedule soon. For now, if you scroll down on Twitch, I have the schedule there. If you can also go on Discord, I have the schedule there. And I will be sending out a ping on Discord when I do update the schedule and release basically the next set of like 2 or 3 months worth of episodes. So if you're not on Discord, go ahead and scroll down on Twitch. The Discord link is right there. If you're on YouTube watching this afterwards, then it's going to be in the description there as well. Also, by the way, for you guys that are watching on YouTube, I know there's actually quite a few people that are actually watching on YouTube the majority of the episodes because the streams are not necessarily in your time zone. 00 UTC is when we do them. So if they're not really in your time zone and you're watching on YouTube, I appreciate it if you guys hit the like button, man. I never say that because I usually try to stick with the Twitch stuff. But yeah, I mean, I know I've gotten some people that have come up to me and talked to me about the YouTube videos and stuff like that because you guys are not able to watch it live. However, if you guys do have questions, if you're watching this and you're not live watching it on Twitch, so if you guys have questions, you guys can always ask me questions on the Discord, okay? The Discord is not very active right now, but that's just because we're starting out, right? So we got to start little by little, right? But we've had some good conversations on there, and you guys can learn from those as well. But again, if you guys have any questions about anything we talk about or anything in general, drop it in Discord. I will see it. 100% I will see it, and I will respond. And we can have a conversation about that. So if you feel like you're missing out on not watching it live and you have some questions for me, Discord is the option. And like I said, it's in the description below on YouTube. Or if you scroll down on Twitch, it should be there on the About section. All right. Anyway, that's it for that. Obviously, if you're on Twitch, follow, subscribe if you want to. You don't have to. The content is free. The content will stay free because I want to make sure that everybody learns as much as possible. But today we got VOD review number 7. Now we got a couple of good videos here today. We got Paura, you see right there, the first one that we're gonna watch today. All right, we got Paura, and this video of Paura is actually from a 15 UTC. I want to say it was a couple days ago. Let me double check here before I give you guys bad info. No, actually, this one was this morning. This was this morning. All right, so this one actually happened this morning at 15 UTC. There's a Paura fight. It seems to be, and I say seems to be because I'm not 100% sure, but it seemed to be a 3-way fight between Fax, Paura, and Hoya. Hoya is an alliance near Morgana's Rest, right? So, yeah, so it seemed to be a 3-way, so everybody kind of fighting against each other, it looked like. Paura ends up winning that fight. But yeah, we're going to review that fight. It was a really, really good fight. Really, really good. And on top of it, I've been wanting to review a fight from Noob Slayer. So Noob Slayer is the caller, Henry, right? He's the caller. And yeah, so Noob Slayer is calling that fight. And I've been wanting to review a fight from Noob Slayer because he is one of the major callers in the game right now. The problem that I've had with Noob Slayer calls is that you know, he says some words that I cannot show you know, on the stream, right, for TOS purposes. And so finding a video that like a clean video for Noob Slayer calling that is also a good fight is pretty hard. It's pretty hard. And so I watched this earlier today, and I immediately realized this is what we got to do today. I had a different video planned, but this is better. I promise you, this is better. Also, this first video, it's from a Grove Keeper perspective. Now, this guy that we're actually going to watch, the guy that made this video, you guys can see it down here a little bit. I know it's a little hard to see, but Grostadluft, I think. I don't know how to say that, right? But this guy, you guys should hit a follow, man. Follow this guy. He makes some good videos, and on top of it, he does give some review to his videos. Like, I'll show you guys real quick right now. Like, see, like, he puts these little captions in, right? And he's basically, these captions, it's like he's kind of giving you his own perspective, his own insight as to what is happening in these situations. He's giving tips and things like that, right? So he doesn't do it the entire fight, but generally speaking, like, whenever he sees something that he wants to say, right? Like, he goes and puts it out, and he puts a lot of effort into these videos, you can tell. And they're pretty good videos. He's a tank, so he has usually a good perspective on the fights. He usually uploads with comms, so you get to see the fights from a good angle. You get to hear the comms as well and see how they're fighting. And right now he's playing with Paura, and Paura right now, you know, if you guys don't know, if you're kind of out of the loop or something, Paura right now is one of the strongest guilds in the game. If not, I might even go and say that they are the strongest guild in the game at this moment. I've been saying Escalation is the strongest guild in the game, and they were, but for about 2 or so weeks, maybe even 3, pushing 3 at this point, they've kind of been not under game, right? And so at least for right now, the way it looks, Paura is refined. Okay, Paura is doing very, 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 very well. All right, so I wanted to make sure I highlighted them because they are going for the season, right? So they're going for the season. They're constantly like 1.3, 1.2, 1.3, 1.4, 1.5 billion PvP fame per week, right? I think the other day I saw they got like 1.7. I think it was last week. So yeah, they're out there. They're fighting a lot. They're getting a lot of experience, and they're doing great. So I'm glad to have the opportunity to be able to kind of review this today, where Noob Slayer doesn't actually drop you know, some bad words in there, right? Now, the second video, let me show you guys real quick. The second video is going to be this one here. And now this one was also from today. This one was uploaded 10 hours ago. This one was 12 UTC. So the Paura one was 15 UTC. This one's 12 UTC. Now, I'm 99% sure. I didn't verify, okay? I didn't verify. But I'm 99% sure that this fight right here, this second fight that we're going to look at, I'm 99% sure that it is on East server, okay? However, I think they're Australian. I mean, at least they're you know, they sound kind of like they have somewhat of an accent that might fit Australian. I don't know exactly, right? So they'll kill me for it, but you know, so yeah. So these guys, they actually hold this territory. They're trying to hold, you know, they got to launch on their territory. It's their territory. They're trying to hold it until the timer so that they can cap it. And they're fighting basically like 3 other alliances. Now, I don't think all the alliances are working together against them, but I think that they're kind of all targeting them. But I don't think they're working together because they don't necessarily coordinate very well together at all times. Okay, so we'll talk about that in a minute. But essentially, it's very nice to see this because these guys do a really, 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 really good job, to be honest. And I have no idea who any of them are. And so this is the thing, right? With the split between West and East server, we're gonna start having more and more of these like kind of, I don't want to call them random guilds, but essentially like new guilds, right? Yo, Lolly, what's up, bro? What's up? Yo, I think we have some videos of yours up for the next episode, man. with your Kingmaker, swinging that shit around. I think I put some. I can't remember, but I'm 99% sure I put some of your videos up for the next episode. Yeah, I'll let you know for sure, but I'm pretty sure. Anyway, let's get back to it. So yeah, so this is the thing that's happening, right, between East and West server, is we're seeing these different shifts, right? And I don't want to call them a random guild because I have no idea how powerful they are in that server, right? They might be very powerful, they might not. I don't know. I don't play with them, right? So I don't understand the dynamics of that server because I'm not there in it. And so because of that, I'm trying to watch more and more of their stuff, and I'm starting to get to know some of the main guilds, right? So this guild that we're gonna watch is a guild called Anzec, okay, Anzec, and then we're gonna watch it from a Locus perspective, and I actually really like this because we haven't really taken a look at a pure support role, for any of the VOD reviews yet, right? We've done DPS, we've done tank, we even did healer, but we haven't done support, and this is why exactly I wanted to make sure that we were able to get a support VOD review done for this. And this guy, I mean, the Locus player that we're gonna follow here with Anzec, he's not bad, but he's not great, right? He makes a lot of mistakes, but he also, he's also on point on a lot of different things. So there's a lot we can learn from it. From that video. Plus the caller is very interesting. The caller surprised me a lot because, like I said, I've never heard of any of these dudes, right? Like I've never heard of any of them, right? And the caller does a pretty damn good job considering how kind of screwed he was in multiple points. He does a really, really good job, and I think that's commendable. And this is why we got to start looking at the way in which the other server people are playing. Yo, Jotira, what's up, man? Hello, Karen. When you gonna start playing support in CIR? Oh, no. Support's not for me, man. Listen, I can teach support. I can teach support. I'll teach support all day, bro. I'll trade up 100 fucking supports. I don't want to support. All right, I do not want to support, man. Support. See, D tank is high pressure, but I feel like support is even worse, man. Support is like you fail one time. You don't do your job perfectly one time, and that's it. Your entire Zerg is dead, right? I don't know, man. I don't know. It's a little rough. It's a little rough. But yeah, no. So anyway, so that's what we're gonna look at today. We're gonna look at the Locus, right? But before that, we're gonna look at Paura, and we're gonna look at Noob Slayer's Calling, and we're also gonna look at a Grove Keeper perspective from the Paura perspective in that fight today. Both these videos are from today's fights. We had some really good ones today. There were a lot of good fights this week, and so it was kind of hard to pick, but I wanted to make sure I kind of brought something new today as opposed to some of the same stuff. Which, by the way, if you guys are listening to this right now and you're kind of thinking, oh, I want you to highlight like my guild or whatever, man, listen, you guys just got to post your videos on YouTube, man. I watch so many videos all week long. All week long, I watch so many fights, right? And I'll tell you the truth, about 80% of all the videos that are uploaded throughout the week are from the same like 10 dudes. Okay, so the truth is that like you just gotta upload your videos, because if you guys are taking good fights and everything, you guys are not recording and not uploading them, then we just don't have the perspective. We just can't review it, right? On that same note, if you do want me to review any of your fights, all you got to do is put it on the Discord server. There's a video section. What happened to the music? Oh, there it is. I think the music's kind of low. Hold on. Let me see if I can. I don't know. I guess it's just me. I guess it's just me. It's all right. So yeah. So if you want me to highlight your video, review your video at some point, just drop it in the Discord server. I will take a look at it. It has to be a video that is a back and forth fight, right? I don't want to review a fight that you kind of got one-shotted, or I don't want to review a fight that you one-shot an enemy. We can't learn a lot from that. It has to be at least a few engages back and forth. It can't be a 10-minute video where 9.5 minutes is just you guys standing around looking at each other across a fucking choke, right? Like, you're not going to learn much from that, okay? It has to be a back and forth video where there's engages, there's defensives, there's counter engages, there's movement, okay? But there also needs to be calls, because if there's no calls, it makes it really, really hard to understand what you should be doing comparative to what the caller is telling you to do, okay? So I am willing to review individual people's videos on the VOD review stream for Mondays, like today. But you guys got to make sure that it's a reviewable video, at least that. Also, if you do submit your video, I'm going to warn you guys right now. If you do submit your video for me to review it, just know I'm not trying to be nice, right? I'm not trying to be nice. So if I see a ton of mistakes, I'm going to tell you there's a ton of mistakes, and I'm going to point each and every single one of them, right? We might even laugh at your mistakes. We might even kind of, say that you're playing like shit, right? But all of that is just to make you better. All of that is just to make you understand that these are the mistakes that you got to fix, and that's it. You get better over time. There's nothing else beyond that. And so, a little criticism can go a long way to making sure people get better. This is exactly why we do it. So anyway, if you want your video reviewed, those are the terms. If you submit it, I assume you're okay with all of that. All right. So let's get moving, because we've already wasted a lot of time. Let's get moving here to the first video. It's going to be Paura. Now, give me a second here. Got to hydrate too. All right, we're good. All right, so this is again Paura video this morning, 15 UTC. They were fighting Hoya and they were fighting Fax. I'm from my understanding, it was a 1v1v1, but I don't know, maybe Hoya and Fax were working together. I doubt it though. I think it was 1v1v1.
Look, if we need to kite, we go northeast, okay?
And by the way, you guys can read these things that I'm just gonna call them gross. Gross. All right, because that name is hard to pronounce, man. I maybe German or something. I don't know where he's from, man, but that name is kind of hard. So I'm gonna just call him Gross. All right. So whatever Gross writes down here, you guys can read it if you want. It's up to you. It's his version of like what he thinks he should be doing, and it's his version of VOD review, right? And he does this with every video, like I said earlier. It is very useful, but it's up to you. You don't have to read this. This is not something I'm putting down on the video. This is just the video itself.
Careful west. They're gonna go for an early engage. Pull them in just a little bit.
All right, so here I do gotta note one mistake here. So the enemies are down to the west over here, right, on the far west, and he's walking directly north, and then he pulls directly east. And it's like, listen, you need to be farther west here, because you need to be able to see the enemy faster than the enemy can see your back line. So what I mean by this is I want you to pay attention to this. Your back line is right here, right? Or at least some of them. I'm not saying your whole back line, but like some of them, right? I see a bunch of, leather, and because there's not a lot of clothies nowadays, but there's a bunch of leather. There's a bunch of DPS back here. And essentially you need to be somewhere over here. And the reason is that these guys, if they start to engage, right, they're going to be much closer to hitting their target before you can actually see them and respond. Okay, now I'm not saying he's completely out of position, and this is important to note. Okay, I'm not saying he's completely out of position. What I'm saying is that there's a better position he should be in. All right, so what he's doing here, if the enemy engages this way, he is in range to stop them here. That's fine. But here's what a lot of people don't understand. Just because you're in range, right? Just because you're in range does not mean you're in a good or even optimal position. All right? Why? Because think about it. Your brain takes a second to analyze things and then make a decision on certain actions. Okay? We might not think about this. Most of the time we don't. We just kind of make decisions and we think that they're very quick, but they're not. They're not. And so if you give yourself an extra little bit of time by standing over here, you give yourself an extra little bit of time while the enemy's walking towards his Zerg to actually make that decision and respond accordingly, then you are going to be much better off in general. Okay? Again, this is not a bad position because he's still in range, but he could be in a better position being farther west here.
Look north on these things. 3, 2, 1. North on these things.
Now, they're engaging here into the Zerg. right? And this is one very good thing that he does here, and I like it a lot. He put a pierce down on these guys, right? These couple tanks, so that's fine. He didn't need to, whatever. It's okay. I actually like that he did. It's a pierce. It's good. Strong. But then what's the next thing he did? And this is what I call a higher level play, right? Again, it might not seem like it, but it is. The fact that he just pierced it and then walks away instantly. He does not wait until his Zerg hits. He doesn't stay there and try to like auto attack or do whatever. He hits his Q and gets the fuck out. Not only is he getting the fuck out, but he's not walking south. He's not walking east. He's walking into the enemy west because he knows that the enemy's up here, right? All of this side is the enemy. All of this up here is the enemy. And so what's happening here is that he knows that the enemy might try to counter engage this way, right? I want you to pay attention to his Zerg. His Zerg just engaged, and this is the formation that they're engaging. You see that? Remember, I've told you guys about this. I think it was back in episode 7 or episode 5. I think it was 5. It was episode Calling Styles. That's the way it was called, Calling Styles, right? In that episode, if you watch that episode, I explained the concept of engaging in a sword formation, right? And this is exactly what a sword formation looks like, because it's a straight line and then with a tip at the end, right? So you're engaging at sword formation. Now, sword formation is very strong because you have all your people engage one tiny little clump and fucking destroy it. But the downside of sword formation is that you end up getting clumped like this. And this is always going to happen with sword formation, okay? Now, people don't know that they're engaging this way, right? They don't necessarily go like, you didn't hear Noob Slayer right now call and be like, yeah, guys, sword formation north, you know, like he didn't say that, right? He didn't say that. What I'm saying is that this is what happens as a result of engaging the way he did. So let's look back at that real quick, just so I can explain it better.
Plus, they're going to go for an early engage.
So he's walking straight up north, right? Right now, he's walking straight north.
Pull them in east a little bit.
So he was, look at this. He was walking north, and then he says, pull them east. So now the guys that are back here are walking north, and then he says, pull them east. Yeah, but these guys back here are still not where they're supposed to be, so they keep walking north. Now, these guys that turn back, they walk back, and now they start to clump down here, right? By all of this, by the way, is not necessarily right here on the thing. It's like, it's happening back there, southeast, right? It's happening southeast of our screen, right? So now they're going to clump down here because of his calls, and then he's going to call the engage. Watch.
Look north on these things. 3, 2, 1.
Look how they're kind of spread, right? There's guys over here, and there's guys over here, right? But look how they all kind of funnel in like a sword, right? They're all going to funnel in.
North on these things.
Right there, right? And now you have that entire sword formation, right? So that's the point. That's what I'm talking about. That's the sword formation. By the way, sword is going to happen almost every single time, no matter what you do. Unless you're, oh, sorry, not unless. Sword formation is going to happen almost every single time, almost, no matter what you do, as long as you're running heavy melee like they are. Okay, and this is one of the things that most Zergs right now are running, right? Most Zergs are running heavy melee comps. And so with heavy melee comps, you're going to have this every single time. All right, it's really hard not to do this because you literally have to engage all the way in. All right, so what does Gross do here? Gross goes southwest to try to stop the flank from the west. Why? Because he knows that when his Zerg engages, he's clumped. His Zerg is clumped. So a counter engage on this is going to be rough. So what does he do is he starts to position himself to defend against the future counterattack, right? This is beautiful play. This is anticipating the next move. This is what everybody needs to do.
Locus, thanks. Come east now. Come east now. Come east now.
Now he puts a ring down, right? And this is preventative, right? They're not necessarily full charging, although this guy's walking north, southeast. This guy's walking southeast. This guy's walking southeast. So maybe he read it, that they're coming in. I don't think so. I think he just did it reactively, okay? So he has the ring around here. Why? Because he understands that he needs to buy time for this sword formation to fan out. So see how literally a couple seconds and now suddenly his Zerg is fanning completely out. It's no longer the sword formation that it was, right? That's what a couple seconds will buy, and that's what this ring is going to help buy as well.
Come east now. Come east now. Come east now. Defensive west. Defensive west. Give me Locus.
Now they pull them. He doesn't freak out. He just walks away. See how he didn't go and like blow everything. I think it was what was it? Last VOD review. I think we saw that one of the guys that we were looking at was basically blowing every single cooldown, right? Every single thing. I think it was the Bedrock Mace guy that we saw. He was just blowing everything every single time. It's like, you don't have to. You only have to stop the enemy as long as your Zerg is in trouble. Right now, your Zerg's not in trouble anymore. I mean, like, technically, they kind of are. They don't have cooldowns, right? So if they full send it, then okay, that's different. But essentially, they're not in trouble for a quick engage east here from the enemy. Okay, so he gets pulled into that air compress. And what does he do? He just walks straight out, calmly, does not waste anything. He didn't use his gig. He didn't use his boots. He didn't use his smoke bomb. Nothing. He just walks out of it calmly, right? He doesn't freak out, is what I'm saying. Venerancer says the ring isn't supposed to stop them from engaging. The ring is not going to stop them from engaging. It's going to slow them, right? It's gonna delay them from engaging, right? There's nothing really going to stop an enemy from engaging outside of literally interrupting their cast, right? But right now, most people don't run anything with cast like Demon Fangs and things like that. They don't have cast time. So essentially, there's no real way to stop an enemy from engaging. There's only a way to kind of slow them down in order to buy time for your Zerg to disperse like they're doing right now.
Just keep coming northeast a little bit. Keep coming northeast a little bit. Move off the trope.
So now he pokes up a little bit. She's trying to look. Are they full engaging or not? He gets caught in this, but that's okay. He has his defenses up. It's okay. He's fine. Let's see if he freaks out this time.
Move off the trope. Don't.
So he jumps out of it. He did freak out. He didn't need to. I mean, the engage wasn't coming.
Even give him a chance to counter. Come back. Come back.
See that? There's no engage, right? So he didn't have to use his boots. So what I'm saying is here, he freaked out, right? He freaked out. He was like, oh shit, I got to get out of this, right? So that's the point. It's like, try to cycle your cooldowns. Try to not just get baited into using your stuff, right? If the enemy used an E to clump you, like a Hand of Justice E to clump you, I think that's what grabbed him right now, and then you didn't use anything, then guess what? They wasted their E and you wasted nothing. That's a lot of value. Now, because he wasted his E and then you wasted your boots, now suddenly it's kind of a trade-off. I still think that wasting the E is bigger for them. It's worse for them than for you losing your boots for a bit, right? But either way, you traded with them instead of just taking what they gave you.
Careful south now. Look, I need a scout south. Let's hold northeast here. Hold northeast here.
Oh, by the way, this guy loots so much. He loots so incredibly much. And I'm just gonna mention it right now. He loots so much. Don't do this. Don't do this. I don't care how good of a tank you think you are. I don't care how good of a player you think you are. The moment you get your eyes off of the enemy and onto a loot bag or onto the things that you're gonna loot, that moment might be the moment that you need to keep your eyes on them, because they might do something to kill your Zerg, right? And he tries to explain it like on these things that he's trying to write. He tries to explain that like, oh yeah, it's okay because you gotta know when to loot and when not to. Listen, the truth is you should never loot. Okay, you should never loot. Don't loot until the end. And if you kind of tell yourself, oh no, well, it's okay if I loot at this time, it's not. It's not. Okay, unless you literally are the absolute best player in the game that has ever existed, don't loot. I'm telling you, like, even I don't loot. I literally never loot until the fight's over. And even then, I still don't loot usually, right? Because you cannot get your eyes off the enemy. You have to pay attention to every individual thing they do. Anyway, that's all I'm going to say about that, because it's going to happen over and over and over and over. Venerator says, a great arcane can. I mean, a great arcane doesn't stop them. It delays them, right? There's nothing that actually stops them from completely trying to push you, right? Or completely trying to like drop their ease on you, right? You can make it harder for them. You can make it take time. You can even make them decide, oh no, I'm just gonna turn back instead. But that's them deciding that. You can't actually force them to not engage. Slows them enough for their abilities not to matter anymore if they press them or not. Yeah, I mean, it's true. It's true. But that's the point, right? You're slowing them. You're not actually stopping them. Outside of interrupting, you're not stopping them. And the reason I'm making a distinction with this Venerancer is not because I'm being picky and I'm just trying to pick a fight or an argument on something that's not important, right? No, it's not because of that. The reason I'm saying it specifically is because a lot of people think that the fight as a tank is about stopping the enemy from engaging. And that's wrong. In a tank's perspective, your job is to stop the enemy for as long as your Zerg is vulnerable. That's it. Or at least delay them, right? And so that's why I say you can't really necessarily stop them, because they're still going to engage whether or not you want to, right? You can use everything you want. They're still going to engage if they really want to. I'm not saying it's going to be a good idea, but I'm saying they still can. Okay. And that's the point. You just have to delay, and changing that mindset is important, because a lot of people go and waste too many of their skills in one hit. Right. So that's the point. Anyway, I'm gonna keep going.
One more piece. Yo, spread northwest to southeast and look. Okay, just hold.
There's up the hill. Fax is up the hill.
Okay.
Oh, he's coming.
So see how he's opening up his mini map over and over and over? That's very important, right? A lot of you guys don't ever do that. And by the way, this is not just for tanks. This is literally for everybody. Everybody should always be opening up your mini map like he's doing so. Why? Because you need to pay attention to where the Zerg is gonna move. What's in front of you, right? So like, let's go back and see how the map looks. So right here, how's the map looking? Okay, so what does this tell me? Real quick, I'm looking. Okay, there's some chokes down here to my south, right? There's a choke down here to my south. If I do happen to go through there, I can funnel west through their choke, right? If I don't funnel through there, right? If I want to go somewhere else, I can go directly east here, because there's a ridge here. Maybe I can go east here, maybe south, or maybe north, right? All these things are very important. If you don't want to do that, then maybe you can kind of come out northwest, or you can come out north directly that way, right? So understanding the positioning is very important. Also, if you're going to decide to push, then it's important to also look at, okay, here's the choke that I'm looking at, right? This is the choke that I'm looking at. That's great. So if I push through this choke, the enemy's somewhere over here, right? If I push through this choke, where's the enemy going to go? Okay, if they go south, then they have multiple different chokes like this right here. You can say this is a choke right here, right? I know it's kind of small, but I think you guys can see it, right? So you can say that's a choke there if they go south, right? If they go past south, there's another rock here. There's another choke they can hold down here, right? So that's my point. It's like you need to understand where the enemy's going to go so that you can chase them and maybe flank around them. If they're going to go north, you can also look and it's like, okay, where are they going to put themselves? Well, there's a ridge here, a walk here. So they're going to have to choose west or go through tiny chokes, right? All these things are very, very important to understand. If we push, what's going to happen? Where are we going to push them into? If the enemy pushes us, what's the safe location to go to? I'm not expecting you guys to read the entire map in a second every single time. What I am expecting you guys to do, though, is to just open up the map and at least look at the immediate surroundings. Okay, there's a choke here, there's a choke here, and the choke is right here. Okay, that's it. At least look at that. That way you know, okay, I can walk a little north, I can walk a little east, I have a space east and north. Great, that's it. Then later on, over time, you'll start getting better and better and better, and you'll be able to read more and more situations. Venerancer says, I mean, you can. Their boots will be out, making them not able to engage. Yeah, their boots. Okay. What I mean is that you're not going to stop them from dropping their E's. There's nothing you can do to stop them to dropping their E's, except for literally like if they choose not to, right? If they choose to drop all their E's on one person, they still drop their E's, right? It's not effective, but it's still dropping their E's on one person. And if you have inertias, bedrocks, enough PO, it's not in his hands to engage or not. Well, that's another thing too. It's like if you have bedrocks and all that, right? You got to realize if the enemy has locuses and the enemy has night helms and the enemy has the right compositions and plays properly, you're not actually going to fully stop the enemy from an engage. You can stop them temporarily, and that temporarily might be long enough for you to get your cooldowns back and hit them again, right? But it doesn't mean you're completely stopping them from doing anything. It's the mentality. It's not the direct how do I say it? It's not the direct outcome, right? It's the mentality that matters. It's how do you cycle your cooldowns as a disengaged tank. You have to make sure that you're only using cooldowns as long as your Zerg is vulnerable. That's it. Have you seen what the we asked guys do? What? Have you seen what the we asked guys do? I'm not sure what you're saying, man. I don't know. You got to rephrase that question, man. All right, I'm gonna keep it going.
Oh, he's coming back south. I'm watching the south
Gonna
door.
let him
Oh yeah,
walk
pull
out.
him off northwest.
Look, step up a little bit. Spread north now. Spread north.
Careful, Jeffrey, really far.
Spread north to south. Just hold the spirit.
All right, so he says spread north, right? That's what the caller's saying. Spread north, right? Remember, there's this rock here. Remember, we saw it on the mini map just a second ago, right? Now we see the rock here, so we know I don't have to look up there. I don't have to have eyes up there. I know what's up there. You know what's up there? There's a ridge over here on the east, and it curls that way, right? So, but there is an opening over there. It's not a huge opening, but there is an opening, and so basically, there's a choke up there in the northwest, and there's an open area to the southwest, at least temporarily open area, right? All these things are important. Now, Noob Slayer here is telling his Zerg, take space north, right? Now, if he takes space north, I personally don't really like this call, and I'll tell you guys why. Because there's this rock here, and the ridge comes this way, right? I know you guys can't see it; it's behind there. Let me see if I can do it better. The ridge is like that, right? So you're gonna basically put your Zerg in that position where there's also a wall down there, right? You're gonna put your Zerg in this position where now half your Zerg is gonna be up here and the half of your Zerg is gonna be down here. What's gonna happen, what can happen, okay, is that this Zerg down here can engage you right here against this rock, okay? And what all they gotta do is put disengaged tanks to the half of your guys down here. Now, when these guys try to engage, here's what's gonna happen. When this group tries to engage, they can engage straight southwest, sure. But if Hoya is the one on the west here. If Hoya instead takes a north angle and engages this way, what that puts the position in for Noob Slayer's Zerg is that they're gonna counter and have to counter around the rock. And remember what I told you a few days ago. If you were listening, if you watched the video a few days ago, I told you guys, I said, corners are absolutely terrible, right? Corners are absolutely terrible. And these corners, this is this basically is effectively a corner, right? Because you're standing here, you're walking, and then corner, right? So that's the point. You're gonna end up clumping. This guy is gonna go around this way. The guy over here is gonna go around this way. The guy over here is gonna go around this way, and they're all gonna clump here, making it very, very easy to actually stop this engagement. So I don't like the call here from Noob Slayer to go and spread north. Now, I know he has an enemy Zerg down here to the southwest. I understand that. And he's trying to push through the choke. But no matter what, right, it's still not necessarily an optimal call. It's going to work out. I already told you they win the fight, right? They will win the fight. It's not an optimal call, okay? But this is one of those situations that callers like Noob Slayer is getting away with, because he has a really strong Zerg. Like, the individual players in the Zerg are really strong. It's not necessarily a good call. It's just that his Zerg is strong enough that it allows this to happen.
Just hold this area. Careful. They're gonna look at you.
See what I said? Look at that. See how they're all clumped like hell there? If Hoya engages right now southeast here, all these guys, they might die or they might not. That's irrelevant. It doesn't matter if they die. The thing is that the disengaged tanks from Hoya are going to be able to just stop this entire area when all these guys flood in this way, right? And listen, I only watched this video one time. I literally only watched this video one time. So I'm just telling you guys the things I'm seeing as I'm watching it with you guys. Here, we got more in the chat. Hold on. We asked, is a guild running over everybody at the moment? They have some videos on YouTube. Is a guild? Oh, you're asking if there is a guild that's running everybody over at the moment? I mean, I told you guys earlier. I don't know if you were here for it, but I think Paura right now is the strongest in the game. At least for now. At least literally like right now, like the last couple weeks, right? If they keep it going, then yeah, I mean, they can be strong for a while. But I think it's temporary, right? Especially because they're going for the season and all that. But you know, that's kind of politics. So that's beside the point. Right now, as it is, pound for pound, Paura is the strongest. I think they are.
Okay, just spread and hold. Spread and hold here.
I'm trying to rock something.
Look, come east a little bit.
So look, now they rotated all these guys to the west. Now I don't know if they're in their own comms or not, but essentially they rotated all around the northwest side. And these guys, instead of holding that little choke that we saw on the map, right? Instead of holding that choke, they're now just peeling southwest. And this is one of the big problems that a lot of guilds and alliances have, and I'm not talking about like large guilds and alliance, I'm talking any level, right? You guys can fight 30v30 or 50v50, whatever. Essentially, this is one of the big problems, is that a lot of times people don't make the decisions to hold things, right? Like if they had decided to hold these guys up there and then full engage these guys, just hold with D-tanks up there and then engage on the southeast, you're literally fighting half the enemy group, right? But instead they're going to rotate southwest. I mean, everybody's decisions, you know, sometimes playing passive and defensive, and this is what Hoya is doing. They're playing passive and defensive. Sometimes playing passive and defensive is just not the right option.
Come east a little bit down the hill if you have to. Look, west on the tanks. 5.
Now this ring doesn't make sense. Okay, for Gross here, it doesn't make sense. The positioning is fine. It's like right next to that rock. It's fine, but it doesn't really make sense because he's not really going to stop anything. There's nobody really like engaging right now, at least not in this sector, in this northwest side. I don't mind his positioning. His position is good because when they engage, guess what they're going to do? They're going to engage southwest, right? Most of them are going to engage southwest. So that means that his flank is going to come in from the northwest. So he's positioned perfectly. Okay, his position's great. I just don't think he needs this ring right now. I don't mind using a preventative ring every once in a while. So I think that's kind of what it is, but it's not necessarily necessary right now. There's nothing telling me like, oh yeah, like you should drop a ring right now. At least not right there.
4, 3, 2, 1. Just kill tanks inside. Kill tanks inside here. Kill tanks inside. Kill tanks inside. Kill all the tanks. Kill all the tanks. Come back east now.
So Vendor Answer says it was used offensively to put pressure on that point. I understand using things like that offensively. I really do. And sometimes you can. But listen, the fight just started, right? The fight just started. Both sides have a lot of fucking players, right? I would not start using my defensive cooldowns for offensive purposes, at least not until I know that we have a leg up on the enemy.
Come back east. Can we finish these kills south or no?
See, like now they're coming in. I would love a fucking ring right now. Look, they're all coming in, right? I would love a fucking ring right now. Absolutely. That would be beautiful, but he's on cooldown.
They're so close. Come east a little bit. Respawn now if you have to. Come east down the hill. Come east down the hill.
So he uses his E here, right? That's good. That's good. Remember what I told you about clumping? Look, right? And now they start clumping here. Right, and they actually had a good angle. They should have spread more to the south here. Either way, they clumped, right? And so that because they clumped, he gets a really good E off. That's beautiful. But look at, remember I told you, this is exactly what I was telling you. Look at what's happening to Paura. They're having to be pushed into that wall, into that corner, right? Now, had Hoya held that north angle and pushed them into this corner, suddenly all of Paura would be stuck back there, right? But again, Hoya was playing passively and now they're trying to play aggressive. And it's like, you can't do this. You have to have a better mindset. You have to think, okay, I'm going to push them behind that rock. So I have to hold the north now, right? You have to look a few steps ahead, especially as a caller, especially in these like really big fights like these.
Help your boys get down the hill. Help your boys north.
So here's a ring now. I mean, he didn't need it at that point. Honestly, he didn't need it, right? Like, yes, it's going to help. I'm not saying it's not going to help, but he didn't need it at this point. Okay. Like they kind of already went through. They're kind of already doing what they were going to do.
Help your boys northwest. Give them heals. Look.
Remember that choke I told you guys about? Look, it's right here. See that? Like you can hold this shit so easily. And Hoya was in position, but they didn't hold it. That was a big mistake by them.
Get ready. We're gonna counter. Spread now. Get ready to respawn. Hold on. Look. Careful. Defensive. Respawn out. West on the choke.
So this is one of the things that a lot of times people blame disengaged tanks. It's like, you're a disengaged tank. What are you doing in the back? Get your ass over here. Blah, blah, blah. Don't. Listen, he's 50% HP. He doesn't have one of his defensives. He does have his gig, but that's risky, right? So he doesn't have one of his defensives. He's a 50% HP. Stay back, man. Literally just stay back. Stay back and wait till a heal comes, right? There's nothing that you need to go endanger yourself for unless your Zerg is literally about to get absolutely fucking wiped. Then okay, go ahead and die for your Zerg. But right now, your guys are kind of looking to southwest to kind of counter engage. It's like, okay, take a step back. It's okay. Sometimes as a disengaged tank, I gotta tell you guys, some of you guys kind of take the idea of staying in the front way too hard. Like you guys got to come back sometimes.
3, 2, 1. Smash the choke now. Smash the choke. Just smash the choke. Totally this choke here, and then come east.
And now he's like, look, he just said it, right? Sometimes there's time to commit for your Zerg when you are low. He's right, but this is not the time.
Come east, come east, come east, come east, come east.
Now he's healed, now he can walk up.
Come east, come east, come east, come east, come east.
Now, I like this ring here, okay? So he's saying, so Noob Slayer had his Zerg pinned up here, and he knows this is a fucked up spot. It is not good. Like, he knows this is not a good spot. He put his Zerg in a terrible spot, and now he's telling his Zerg, engage southwest and then cut east. So go back down where we came from. Remember, I told you, from the moment he went up there, I told you that was a bad spot, right? Now, he's realizing it, and he's like, oh shit, so he's coming back southeast, right? Now, I love this ring. Why? Because this ring, the corner is somewhere over here, right? The corner of the ridge is somewhere over here. So this ring, I think it should have been a little bit better, a little bit west, right? But it's okay. I'm not gonna blame him for that. It's beautiful because it's gonna cause the enemy to be slowed if they try to take an angle across and maybe even bomb over the wall, right? It's also, I think actually I think I'm wrong. I think the edge is right here. Let me see. Yeah, I think the edge is like right here. Anyway, we'll see it in a second. But essentially, this ring is helping stop the enemy from just walking in this direction. What it's going to do is going to make the enemy walk south and around and start clumping on the south, where you have your cooldown up in 0.4 seconds. So you have your cooldown up. Then you can go and use your E on that clump, right? This is beautiful placement, and this is beautiful synergy between your W and your E skills, right? Where you use your W to basically force the enemy into clumping with each other on a better spot for your E.
Come east down the choke. Help your boys, help your boys. They're trying to monkey push us. Spread now, defensive on the choke.
See how many people are like taking damage a lot? Like, by the way, listen. That mistake that Noob Slayer did is critical, right? The mistake I was telling you guys about, it's critical. Like, if he was not calling for Paura, if he was calling for some other guild with like not as good players, he would have been full wipe right here. Absolutely full wipe. But this is where the Zerg carries a person, right? They carry the mistakes of a caller, right? I'm not saying Noob Slayer's a bad caller. He's not a bad caller. But that was a bad mistake, right? And so his Zerg is now doing everything they can to save the mistake.
Choke, look back at my choke and help it. Look at back at my choke. Look back at my choke. Heals on 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 my choke. Hold the choke. Hold the choke. Hold the choke. Hold the choke. Heals on my choke.
So now he comes over. He didn't use his E. You see that? He didn't use his E. Like, he didn't have to, right? He could have, and honestly, it probably would have been a little better to do it, but he was getting low. He did have his gig though, and that's one of the things that sometimes, we'll look at it again, right? But sometimes some people, they kind of, in trying to cycle your cooldowns, you kind of do a little too much, okay? Let's look at it again.
Choke, help your boys, they're trying to monkey push us.
So he's coming down here, he's got a decent HP, right? He could just gig and jump in southwest, like just walk southwest and then jump in on this group down here. Perhaps you might save your Zerg from getting clumped and killed right here, right? And if you don't, at the minimum, at least you did something, because remember, the Growth Keeper gives you resistances when you hit people with your E, and those resistances are massive, right? So use them to your advantage. I think right here, Growth's kind of a he lost an opportunity, but it wasn't critical for him. I'm okay with the decisions he took. I just think he could have done better.
Right now, defensive on the choke. Look back at my choke and help it. Look at back at my choke. Look back at my choke. Heals on 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 my choke. Hold the choke. Hold the choke. Hold the choke. Hold the choke. Heals on my choke. Heals on my choke. Hold on. Wait. Heals inside. Help Marine to the south. Help Marine over this wall. Beautiful.
See what I said about looting, man? It's so bad. It's so bad.
West. Stoppers on west.
Anyway, I think he cut the video because I think they rotated or something, because they look like they're south of that choke now. Right? They like if you look at the mini map, they were kind of fighting over here, somewhere over here, and now they're fighting south of that. So I think they just rotated. One thing I do got to note though is this is where Fax comes in. Fax is down there to the southwest. Okay, so basically, Fax is up here, Hoya's on the north, and it seems to be his Zerg is southeast. So this is not a very good angle, right? He's kind of they're kind of pinned between two sides. Venermaster says, don't forget his E gives him resistance and he still has plus get caught. Yeah, that's what I said, right? Is that he gets the resistances from the E. He could have used it, is my point, right? He could have used it because he would have gotten the resistances plus the gig.
Pull around this rock, make them work for this rock. Come south. Help your boys north. If you're healing, help your boys north here. Help your boys north. Keep coming south.
I like this ring a lot. I would have liked it better right here, right? I would have liked it better right there. But again, you know, you take the good with the bad, right? And so this ring is very good, okay? One thing I do want to mention here, he keeps doing it and I keep forgetting to mention it. But essentially, what you want to do with things like wind walls, fire walls, the inertia rings, icicle ease, okay? All those kinds of things that are kind of like an area of effect that slows or stuns or whatever it does, right? What you want to do is you want to play it off of walls. So right here we have this boulder, right? This boulder, this giant rock is a wall, right? For in-game purposes, it's a wall, okay? And so you want to basically use your skill as an extension of that wall. So you see that now there's this tree here. See that? The tree is an extension of the wall, right? So basically what he did is he extended this wall here. He extended it across to the tree. Right now, everything up here is fine. I don't care too much. But the point is that he was able to cut off an angle by doing this, right? There are tons of objects in the game that you can do this with. I have an entire episode on terrain, right? And so this is very, very important. This is why I said, had he done it here, it would have been better because he would have actually linked this rock with this mineral node, right? Or this ore node, I should say. This ore node, right? And so essentially having the ring here would have been much better. Either way, this is still good. Okay, this is still good. His guys are retreating. Okay, and look, I want you to pay attention. Clothy, actually, look, I should say healer, right? Healer, right? You have 3 healers that are walking back. You got, you know, the leather guy, right? And so essentially what I'm saying is the enemy's trying to catch a few of your basically backline guys. So you want to have things to slow them down and stop them. This is very good, very, very well done from him.
Come so. Look, my tanks come to me. My tanks come to me. You're
something I also want to point out is not wasting them into the objects. For example, guard rune in between the 2 objects. Oh yeah, no, don't. Oh no, man, why you got to tell me that? Why you got to tell me that? Listen. What Venerancer's saying. Let me go back. I'll tell you why I'm saying no. It's a story, man. All right, so listen. What he's saying is don't waste it by placing it right here, like this, right? Or like you know, like basically where it kind of cuts itself off into the rock, right? It's like people are not going to be able to walk into the rock anyway, so it's wasted, right? That's what Venerancer's saying on the chat. Here's the thing, man. One time I was doing a CTA long time ago, right? And there's this rock just like this. It was smaller, but it was just like that, right? And I'm standing like right here where Gross is, right? I'm standing like right here, and I have a healer that's like down here, right? And he's a fallen healer, and I'm like super low on HP. I'm like 10% HP. I'm about to die. And I literally, because I was calling, I'm like, yo, drop a heal. So this guy goes and says, yeah, I'll drop a fallen on you. And he goes and he drops a fallen. This motherfucker literally drops the fallen like this, bro. And I'm like, bro, are you serious right now? Are you serious? Like, oh man, it was ridiculous. It was absolutely ridiculous, right? But yes, that's exactly what he's talking about. It's like, make sure that your skills are actually like on the map, not on things that, you know, are in walls and shit that we can't even walk into.
Look, my tanks come to me. My tanks come to me. You're 2 screens off now. Come. Come. Look at Faxer. Get ready.
Now, I do want to say here one thing. He opened up his minimap and he saw his Zerg really spread out, right? Like there's still guys over here all along this, right? It's like a fucking train. One thing I would have done, honestly, I would have turned around and made sure that our backline is safe. Unless I knew that the backline is safe, but he doesn't know that they were being chased, right? As a disengaged tank, I am much more concerned about the rear, the back line of my Zerg than I am concerned of the front. And the main reason is because our caller is always going to be looking at the front, or not always, but most of the time, right? So our caller is most of the time going to be looking at the front. You know who else is usually going to be looking at the front? The supports. So things like Locuses and enigmatics and healers, right? So those guys tend to look at the front. So as a disengaged tank, if you have the decision between should I go looking at the front or should I look at the back, 9 times out of 10, it's going to be look at the back. Why? Because no one else is looking at the back except for disengaged tanks. So right there when he opened up his minimap, he saw people strung out in the back. He should have walked back there just to make sure they were safe.
They're northeast, like 2 screens here.
Look, we're gonna catch tanks. 3, 2.
Now, this is a very good point. When you get left behind and in a safe position to mount up, just do it. That is actually just do it, right? Just mount up, just do it. Very, 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 very good tip right there from him, right? You gotta, like, so many people, like, look at all these people, right? Look at all these people. None of them are mounting, and they're literally out of the fight doing nothing, right? So mount up and run to the front so that you can get back to where you need to be.
One, catch tanks here, catch tanks here, catch tanks, catch tanks, catch tanks, kill the tanks, kill the tanks, kill the tanks. Oh damn, the Hellion hood goes so crazy. That's why it's so good. Come south a little bit. Hold on, come east a little bit, pull them in, pull them in. You guys are clumped. Cleanse that, cleanse that, cleanse that.
Now, listen. This is why it's so important to pay attention to what your Zerg is doing, okay? This is very, very important. Noob Slayer here engaged west into some tanks or whatever. He killed some people, maybe not. I don't know. I couldn't see, right? But essentially, okay, his Zerg hit west. His Zerg is getting caught in the north, and now he's got an enemy Zerg to the west. He has no cooldowns and he's going east. So what he needs to do is make sure he doesn't accidentally walk northeast into the other enemy, right? So he needs to make sure he walks southeast and out of this. Now, what I'm talking about with Gross here, what he's doing is that he's positioned to the north. There's no reason to be in the north here. You actually want to cut south. Why? Because your Zerg has to move south, right? If you're going to go and disengage this west side, this fax people, right? Then, okay, place yourself south and block their positioning. Because if your Zerg's down here, the enemy Zerg's down here, they will engage like this, right? So you need to be down here to cut them off from doing that, okay? Now, I still think this is not the best thing he should be doing. I think he should be up there in the northeast because that Zerg up there is chasing down his guys and he has no eyes on it right now.
That. Come east now, come east. Help my boys.
Oh, you're coming in on the northeast. You're gonna be
come
stuck in the
south,
wall.
come south now, come south now, come south, come south. Come southeast to this choke. Come southeast to the choke. Stoppers look west. Careful. Careful. Look, my clothiest play on.
Something I don't like about this is not calling it out to his caller. Venommaster says and mounting. Yeah. So that is important. I will say though, I give a lot of leeway to people for not calling things out. Because a lot of callers get really upset when anybody speaks during their CTAs or anybody that is not like their normal scouts or their normal officers or their normal whatever, right? And so I don't know what Gross's standing is in Paura. I don't know if he's an officer or whatever. I don't know. And so a lot of times it's kind of a leadership fault because leadership doesn't make it so that people feel comfortable to do that. So I wouldn't blame Gross right away for not doing that, but I will say a lot of the rest of the players that were there didn't call it out either, right? So that is important.
On the east side, my clothiest play on the east side. Come south, come south. Come west now, wrap around now. Look west.
Now let's look at the mini map here. You see there's a wall. You guys can barely see. I'll highlight it a little bit. There's a wall there. There's a wall over here. And there's a tiny little choke in between to go southeast, okay, in the mini map. So basically what I'm saying is they're kind of not in a good spot here, okay? Because they have Fax to the northwest. They have Hoya to the northeast, or at least far northeast up there. And then they have a choke southeast. Other than that, they have walls, right? So again, they're in a pretty bad spot here. So Noob Slayer, as the caller, has a few decisions here. He can either choose to tell his Zerg, yo, let's make it through that choke, right? Let's get out of this, which is the defensive call. Or if he wants to play offensive, he has to crash one side. Which side should he crash? Usually, you want to crash the side that is more compact. And why do I say compact? It's because Fax is not necessarily chasing you right now. They're kind of together. Whereas Hoya up there was chasing you. And when they're chasing you, they get spread out and all of that. So a Zerg that is spread out is much harder to run over because they're spread out, right? Now, the Zerg that is compact is going to be Fax to the west because they're not actually chasing you. So if you're going to crash through anybody, I would advise to crash through Fax here. However, Fax is a pretty good Zerg, so crashing through them is going to be hard. So this is where he's going to rely on his Zerg for it.
West, 5. Hold on. 4, 3, 2, 1. Just catch tanks here. Just catch tanks. Catch the tanks here. Catch the tanks. Come back east. Come back east. Look, give me Locus now.
See, now they gave info. Hoya's coming up on the east, right? Or he said pulling back. I don't know what he said, but I see the red name tags up here, right? So now Noob Slayer engaged west on tanks. Fax played defensive here, and they actually pulled back, right? In reading this, if I were Noob Slayer, I'm like, oh shit. Why? Because I was supposed to break through these guys, and they played defensive. If they played defensive, I can't break through them. At least not yet, right? And now I have these guys bearing down on me from the north. So let's see what he does.
Give me Locus now. Give me Locus now. Look, give me Locus now. Look, that's fine. Come east. They wasted their engage. Come east.
Now, Fax pulled completely west. I have no idea why. That was a big mistake from them. I think they're playing way too defensive. Because Fax should completely collapse on Paura right here. Paura can be one shot right now. Because Hoya is engaging. You see all the name tags on the east, right? Hoya is engaging on Paura. Fax should be walking southeast here. And I think this is a problem from Fax's caller. We highlighted Fax's caller, Daz. We highlighted him on a VOD review, I think like a week or two ago. And he did really good, right? But there's also mistakes that he does. And this is one of the mistakes that he's doing right now. He should be putting pressure right now.
Look, spread defensive now. Rise point south. Rise point south. Heal south. Heal south. Come south. Come south. Come down. Yo, come east. Come east. Come east.
Now, here, Gross puts a ring down. I'll tell you the truth. Gross has been out of position for a while now. Okay, he was northeast. He decided to go west. He did nothing on the west. He came back northeast. He did nothing on the northeast. He went back west. He did nothing on the west. Now he's coming back east, right? And at no point is he using his mobility, right? Because he's treating this this boots as a complete and total defensive. He's not treating it as a mobility and a defensive. He's only treating it as a defensive. And this is the problem that I tell people with running things like mercenary shoes, is that you end up playing it only as a defensive and never as mobility. Right here, he put his ring right here. He should have just dashed this way with his boots and put the ring over here. It would have been much better. And maybe even stunned to the northeast as well, so that way he can also get out and buy more time. But instead, he's completely out of position. This ring is okay. It's not terrible, but it's not good.
Look, walk into them. Scare them a little bit. Walk into them. Scare them a little bit. And then come southeast down this choke. 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 Give me Locus. Give me Locus. Give me Locus. Look, defensive now. Defensive.
Veneraster says, it would be easier to hit the chasing Zerg considering that, as you said, they're spread, meaning supports and defenses might not be in position. You're right. But here's the thing, right? You have to think about this. If you engage the Zerg that is chasing you, yes, you're going to get some kills. But some kills is not going to allow you to break through them, okay? What allows you to break through them is to actually be able to crash them and hit enough of them to the point that it forces them to disperse into different directions. If you only kill a few people in their front line, it doesn't matter because the rest of them are fully spread and still walking into you. You cannot do much damage to them. They're already spread. They're not going to panic because they're not clumping. That's the point, right? What's the thing I used to draw? I forgot what it's called, man. It's like Magic Pen or something like that. I can't look at it right now. I don't know. I'll let you know at the end when I look at it. But I think it's Magic Pen. I think that's the way it's called. Anyway, keep going.
Defensive now. Give me Locus.
He uses an E here. Again, it's not optimal. These guys are kind of far back from his Zerg. It is useful because there are some of his guys that are getting hit, but it's not optimal. I mean, he just keeps being out of position at this point. Like, he's just too far in. He needs to pull southwest here towards his Zerg more. He needs to establish a front line.
Give me Locus. Help your boys back. Help your boys. Come south. Look, give me Oathkeepers downstairs. Come down now. Come down. Everybody come down. Heals inside.
I would put a ring here. I would absolutely put a ring here. You see how they're rotating? They're rotating and they're rotating together. You also see, look, Pui, right? Pui. All of these seem to be the same guild. Which means what? These guys are actually on a separate comms from the rest of the Zerg. Okay? This means that they want to do something abnormal, something different, a flank of something, okay? So what I would do is I would make their life hard by walking here, putting a ring there, and then just walking away. Why? Because it will buy you time because you don't know exactly what they're doing, where they're going, or how they're going to hit. So anytime you see this, this is surely going to be a flank at some point. You want to delay it.
Heals inside. Come down.
See, he was about to put it. Yeah, he was about to put it. He got canceled. He can put it again, though.
Ready to counter choke. Look. Get ready.
Look, here they are. See that? And now he puts that ring. And again, look at this wall, right? And he put the ring right on the wall, on the tree, right? Beautiful. And watch. All of them are now fucked into that ring. It's a beautiful ring.
Come down quickly. They're gonna have a second engage. Hold on, pull them in. Heals inside. Just wait. Move off the choke now. Heals inside. Nice. We only lost the focus. Hold on. Choke.
Remember that choke we were talking about where he was kind of fucked and he had to make a decision, right? And he chose to engage facts and it didn't work and now he was fucked. Well, this is the choke I was talking about, right? That's my point. It's like you need to always look ahead. This is why opening your minimap is important, because then you know what's gonna happen. You know what's gonna happen if you don't get the kills. You know what's gonna happen if you walk north, you walk south, whatever. You know what's gonna happen, so you know your positioning.
Hold on, we gotta wait. That's my rapper left. Come east a little bit. Come east a little bit.
We have 3 better moves.
Okay, come, just walk now.
Bouncing on this thing, coming on
Just walk. Oh, okay. Come, careful. Come back west now. Listen.
All right, so Hoya rotated. It looks like Hoya rotated out, and now they're to the northeast here. Let's see what they do here. I mean, if I was him, by the way.
Look. Stoppers northeast. Look. Come west.
I messed it up. Sorry, hold on. So if I was him, I would stand up here. I would absolutely be up there, right? There's no reason that he keeps doing this. He keeps going back and forth. It's like, listen, I don't mind rotating. I actually told you guys it's good to rotate. When we were doing the disengaged tanks episode, like episode 15 or something, I was telling you guys, like, it's good to rotate. But what he's doing is he's not actually rotating. He's just walking back and forth, okay? Pick a side and actually hold that side for as long as you can. I'm not saying hold it, but like, you know, look, there's a melee DPS here, and they're basically on the same line as you, right? There's a fucking Hodge in here, right? And there's nothing you're doing up here to defend that, right? That's my point.
Come west now. Look, you're gonna sprint up the choke northwest. Look, northwest. Get ready. Sprint. 5, 4.
Also, his angle is terrible. I will say his angle is terrible. There's a wall down here on the south. He should stand down here. I like that he's standing by the wall. Wall is very important, but he should stand down here. Why? Because he gets better angle this way. This way, when he's standing by this north wall, he doesn't have as good angle to look at what the enemy's doing.
3, 2, 1. Up. Cleanse now. Cleanse your boys while you're walking. Cleanse your boys. Get up. Get up the choke. Get up the choke.
All right, so he's pushing up the choke again. If I were him, I would walk back and make sure I put my W, maybe even my E, to try to slow down the enemy from like catching this. Because if they catch you here, this is critical. Your Zerg is dead, right? And this Zerg, the enemy Zerg, is actually close enough where they might be able to. So I like this ring, but I don't like it a lot because look, half the ring is inside there, right? Don't do that. Like, he should have placed the ring more this way. In fact, the truth is he should have placed it over here, right? A little bit farther southeast.
Up the choke, get up the choke. Everybody up the choke. Nice. Okay, now, hold. Wait now. Look, east on the tanks. 3, 2, 1. Catch east now. On these tanks.
Now, what he's doing right now, again, this is another critical mistake, okay? This is horrible. What Noob Slayer is doing right now is literally like one of the worst things you can do, okay? The reason is because he's going to go and catch tanks. Okay, I don't care if you kill 10 tanks. It doesn't matter. Why? Because your Zerg just walked up a hill, right? They use defensives to try to get up that hill. Some defensives at least, right? Some cleanses, some things like that, right? And now you're telling your Zerg to run through that choke again. Why? Because his Zerg is melee. His Zerg is not ranged. So he's not telling them to bomb over wall. He's telling them to run through the choke again and engage, right? So if they run through the choke again, the enemy is now in position. If they full counter, they can completely one-shot him. This is why this is a critical mistake, okay? And I think he's only doing it because he knows his Zerg will cover his losses, but also he knows that the enemy Zerg is not as good, right? So he's counting on the enemy not being very, very good here, but that's a big risk to take.
Blow up these tanks and then come back northwest. Look, get ready to help my choke. Look, beautiful job.
And I have no idea what he's doing down up here. Like, honestly, like, in this situation, it's so risky. You should be walking southeast. Because you need to put yourself between the enemy and your Zerg, right? Your caller made this call. It was a risky-ass call, but whatever. It's your job to defend it anyway. So get down there. There's no reason to be up here doing nothing.
Look, hold now. Is Daz wrapping myself? Okay, hold. He's downstairs. I see. Let's hold. Look north. Look.
All right, so I don't know what happened here. They rotated, I guess, at some point. They rotated around the map. I think what happened is that, looking at the map, actually, I can show you here. So you see this choke here? I think it's a choke. They're looking northeast. North. Let me see. Hold on. Somewhere north, directly north of where we are, like 3 screens north of where we are right now. Maybe even 4 screens north of where we are. That's where they were. And so what they did is they rotated around this southwest side and came around this side because Fax was down here. Now, one thing also to note is look at these blobs down here, right? Those might be flank groups. Those might be rats. Either way, you don't know, so you got to find out, especially as this disengaged tank.
Look north more. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Northeast on the tanks. 3. Hold on. Wait. Stop us. Northeast. 3, 2, 1. Catch northeast now. Catch northeast.
All right, so here they're engaging. Hoya is like very, 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 very clumped here. This is not good for Hoya. If Paura full engages here and actually is able to get kills, they can break Hoya right here, their front line, and then just chase them until they finish them off.
Catch northeast on these tanks. Come back west now. Come back west now. Good job. Good.
Now there's no damage here. I don't even think there was any kills. Let me actually check the kill board is down on the south on the bottom left. We can take a look again. Let's see.
West now. Come back west now. Good job.
Wait, I kind of messed it up. There we go.
Catch northeast on these tanks. Come back west now. Come back west now. Good job. Good job. Look.
There were 3 kills. Right? Now, this is terrible. If Hoya, right, because Hoya absorbed the damage, right? Even though they were in a bad position, they absorbed the damage. So now, if they counter engage full, like literally full send it here, now Paura is fucked, right? And this is one of the things that Noobslayer keeps doing. He keeps taking these risks, right? Because he keeps trusting his Zerg. Sometimes it works out, and I'm sure it works out more often than not because his Zerg is really, really, really good. But these risks are not good. If he was fighting a better Zerg, he would be one shot right here for sure. His engage wasn't bad. His engage was not bad, but his engage should have been shallow and then come back early because he knew that the enemy Zerg could counter engage. But the fact that his Zerg couldn't get the kills, that's kind of critical for him.
Locus now. Give me Locus now. Look, stoppers east. Hold them now. Come west now. Heels inside.
See how he's like telling the guys like hold him, stoppers easy. You know, he's actually like giving a lot of commands right now. Why? Because he knows that this is a bad spot for him.
Heels inside. Come west more. Go further west. Get away from the hill right now. We need to create space so we have defense. Hold.
Look at all these guys looting. This is terrible, man. Like, they're looting and now they're out of position. His Zerg is already moving southwest and these guys are looting. This is what I'm telling you guys. You guys should never be looting. And then you got 2 tanks on there as well. Like, even worse. Like, never loot because this is what's going to keep happening to you. And now Hoya can actually just engage these guys here and kill them by themselves. I don't think they're going to.
Hold.
I don't think they're going to, but, I mean, it's still bad.
Hold. We can play the choke fight against them. We're going to wipe the tanks on the north side again. Get ready. North on the tanks. 3, 2, 1. Catch the tanks now. Delete their tanks. Come back west.
So now this was actually a good engage, right? They engaged shallow, right? They engaged just the tanks in front. And then he's telling his boys come back out as quickly as possible, right? So he doesn't actually go through this choke here, right? He doesn't actually cross that choke. He just hits the people on the choke, on the hill, right? And so now Hoya, if they want to counter, they're gonna have to overextend.
Come back west now. Locus now. Stoppers now. Locus and stoppers.
Look how he's looting in the middle of like the enemy about to counter engage. Like, this is terrible.
Locus and stoppers. Look, come back west. Beautiful job. Pull them in. Careful, they might have a second engage. I don't know. Keep coming.
One thing he's not doing, one thing Gross is not doing is he's not using his Q enough. Like, there are so many examples here that he could be using his Q. He's just inside the enemy for no reason right now. He might as well use his Q. I know he's using his Guardian armor and that's fine, but use your Q as well. I mean, it's there, might as well.
West, keep coming west. Pull them in. Qs and Ws on guys inside now. Qs and Ws now. Qs and Ws. Finish these kills. Beautiful job. Qs and Ws. Look, engage anybody inside of us. 3, 2, 1. Hit inside. Yeah. Come back west now. Locus now. Respawn now.
Look, the enemy's engaging again. He was so busy with the loot that now he's late to disengage, right? The enemy's already hitting. Now he's casting his E, but it's like the enemy's already hitting. You're late. Yeah, you're gonna stop the second wave, I guess, but you already didn't stop the beginning. This is my point, right? You gotta stop doing this. Like, just everybody. And I listen, I'm not just shitting on Gross. Like I said, Gross is a pretty good player and everything, but there are some players that They do this all the time, man. They do this all the time, and it's just so bad.
Everybody res spot, pressure res spots, pressure res spots, pressure res spots here. Help your east choke, help your east choke. Look, walk in, spread north to south. Walk in and spread north to south. Spread north to south. Keep walking, walk in. Some of you guys go.
So now it's a full crash, right? Now he's saying walk in, walk in, walk in. So that's what the caller's saying. He's saying walk in, walk in, walk in. He's trying to crash through the enemy, okay? What you're supposed to do as a tank is you're supposed to know, okay, we're trying to crash through the enemy. I want to limit their mobility. So what I would do here is I would actually pop my Guardian armor here because it reduces their speed. And so that way I can slow them down to make sure my Zerg in the back catches up to them and gets a good clap in.
Straight to the middle. Come. Keep walking. Hold them now. Hold.
Now, they're about to turn. You can see it down here. You see these guys? When you see a random group of people just turn around like this, they're gonna turn. So what he should do right now is probably pop his boots down here and use his Guardian armor on them. Again, he's not using his Guardian armor at all. I mean, he could have used it earlier, would have been good. He could use it now, would be good, but let's see what he does.
Hold them now. We're gonna wipe the south side more. Come south now. We're gonna.
Nope, he's back to the loot stuff, right? He's back to the loot stuff. So that's the point. Venommaster says, don't forget his Q purges shields in the example you just gave. They had Oathkeeper E. You're right. It does. I don't know if it purges, if you purge the Oathkeeper E, the shield, I don't think it purges the move speed as well, right? Because the move speed is technically a different buff. The way it actually gives you the buffs, it's different. It'd be interesting to test it, but you're right. It definitely does destroy their shields, and that might be useful, especially if you're going to counter engage on them.
Gonna converge on the south side. South side, get ready. 5, 4, 3.
Now I love this ring. This ring is beautiful, right? There's a group of enemies stuck up there in the north, and they're trying to walk south. You're gonna get them stuck into these things. Remember, I said I didn't like the ring offensively earlier because the fight had just started and they weren't necessarily having a leg up on the enemy, right? Now I love the offensive ring. Why? Because now they have a leg up on the enemy. They're catching them, they're chasing them, they're trying to secure kills, right? They already got a lot of kills earlier, and so they're basically capitalizing on that. Now I don't mind it, but earlier, yeah, it was too early for that.
2, 1. Smash this outside. Delete this outside. Spread out now. Look, get ready to pop the defenses inside. They're engaging the same time.
Again, he's late because he went south, right? I don't know why he went south. The majority of the enemy Zerg was up there in the north. You can see the tags, right? But he went south. I'm not certain why.
Defensive now. Drop all of your heals.
So now I would jump out with my boots, and I think he's doing that right now. Like he's getting absolutely dumpstered.
The heals. Spread west to east. Look north now. Spread west to east. Look north.
So look at this. See that? How they're all clumped there together? You're about to counter engage, and you know that in a few seconds your Zerg will have cooldowns. So what you can do is walk in there, drop your ring, because your ring is about to go up, right? Drop your ring there, and again, it's offensive, but you're actually forcing them to stay in that clump.
Hold them now. Tanks hold them.
Yeah, beautiful. There you go. See? Amazing.
Tanks hold them. Keep fucking with them now. Look, I want northwest on the fucking wall. Hold on, wait. Hold on, northwest on the wall. Step up. Get ready. 5, 4. Actually, in the middle. 3, 2, 1. In the middle now. Turn around. Smash the middle here. Spread again.
They're saying wall south, right? They're saying south. He should be running southeast. As soon as you hear that, don't wait. Just go. You have to make it a habit. You have to just get there, right? You hear, oh, flank this way, flank whatever. Run there. Don't waste time, because even 1 second of wasted time could be the difference between your Zerg gets wiped and you actually stop the entire engage.
Spread again. Respawn now if you have to. Respawn. Beautiful job. Look, come southeast inside. Qs and Ws. Look, stop. Everybody stop. Stop.
Practically here.
Stop.
All right, so yeah, so they said stop because I think it was a between Paura and Hoya. I think it was an arranged fight. I think Fax just came in and was just fighting with them, but I don't think Fax was part of the arranged fight. I think Fax just came in to kind of like enjoy the fight. Okay. But yeah, so this entire last part of it was Hoya against Paura, and Paura basically wiped Hoya, or they basically had broken them, right? And so they're saying stop because they work together, and so I think they just talk to each other and say, hey, we're done. Like, all right, cool. So yeah, it's it wasn't a real fight. It was a It was a practice fight, essentially. It was a friendly fight. Anyway, either way, it was a great fight. It was a great back and forth, and we got to learn a lot, especially from Grovekeeper. And we got to see Noob Slayer calls, right? So if you had never heard of Noob Slayer's calls, like I said, he's a good caller. He makes some mistakes, right? This is why I don't count him as one of the best callers in the game. I don't. But either way, he's definitely an above average caller, like absolutely above average caller. Like the guy can call for basically any level of fights, and he has plenty of experience doing so. So yeah, but he does make some critical mistakes sometimes. He just has a really strong Zerg right now, which is good for him. All right, let's move on to the next one. Let me close this one up. All right, here we go. So this one, we're gonna run through it a little bit quicker than we did with the other one. Mostly because, well, it's a smaller, it's a shorter fight. I know it's a longer video, but it's a shorter fight. But also because there's not as much that happens in this fight, because this fight is all just in the territory, and they're kind of just responding to all the different flanks. So I want to focus not on the caller for this one. I will make some comments on the caller here and there, but I'm not going to comment too much on the caller. I would just let you guys know, like, this guy, the caller is Morloa. His name tag is down here in the southwest. I just blocked it. Morloa. So if any of you guys know him, give him a shout out. Show him this video. Tell him he did a great job, man. Because he really did. He really did. I was actually very surprised at how well he called here, and I've never heard of him before. So whoever he is, he's got potential. He's got a lot of potential. So good for this, guys. But yeah, I'm gonna focus more on the Locus, because I want to make sure that we get some good Locus perspectives and good Locus play, and what we should do here. So here's the fight. Anzec is the guild that's holding this territory. He's a Locus player. He's wearing he has the shield Q, cleanse W. He's got a Judicator armor, assassin hood, and I don't know what leather shoes, some leather shoes with the refreshing sprint. So he has the classic like Locus build, right? Just absolute classic Locus build. The enemy's southwest right now. Eventually they'll come in a little bit from the east. Eventually they're gonna get flanked from the fucking tower, because the mage is down. And yeah, so let's get on with it.
They're walking in.
Venerancer says, who do you think is a very good caller? Who do I mean, I just said Noob Slayer is a very good caller. He is. He's not a top. He's not one of the top 5 callers or anything, but he's a very good caller. You know, who else? I mean, Africa's a good caller. Del Negro is a good caller. He's not. See, the problem with Del Negro in Africa is that a lot of people think that they're amazing callers. Neither of them are amazing callers. Africa is a lot closer to amazing than Del Negro, but neither of them are like elite callers in my point of view. And Noob Slayer is basically in that same pack, but he's just a little bit below both of them. Okay, that's just the way I see it. Yeah, if you want to know anybody specific, give me a name and I'll tell you what I think about them real quick. All right, I'm gonna keep it going.
They're walking in. Get out of the chokes, boys. Get out of the chokes. They'll bomb the tanks in a minute.
This block to the south.
Yeah, they're walking in. Just Q's and W's on these guys.
So here, it was so telegraphed, right? This guy comes in, sprints all the way in, and then hodges back, right? Super duper telegraph. Now, I will mention right now, this is something I learned through watching the video. I realized that he's not playing defensive Locus, he's playing offensive Locus. Okay, so let's keep that in mind. Let's give him some wiggle room here. He is a offensive Locus, not a defensive Locus. The thing about it though is that even if you're a defense or offensive Locus, you still need to use your skills sometimes defensively. Like here, you see this. What you should be doing is, I mean, drop a Q, right? Drop a Q. You have a W. You might as well use that cleanse on them. It's a pretty short cooldown, right? Other than that, I mean, don't use your E on this unless you think it's like do or die, right? Because you're offensive, not defensive. But essentially, drop a cleanse, drop a at least a shield Q, something to try to help out. Don't just watch your boys get wrecked.
Don't use your E like that, bro. Don't use your E like that. We're gonna counter engage to the south in 5 to the south.
So he uses nothing, but he's walking up. He's hearing the countdown. He's walking up.
In the tanks inside of us.
So here he's placing it. Sorry, I'm trying to see it where. It's really hard to see. It's somewhere around here, I think. All right. I think it's right there. Anyway, it's right there. It's like where it's supposed to be. Okay, it's well placed. Okay, it's on the clump. Why does he need to place it right on the clump? Well, what you want to do is place it either right on the clump or right behind the clump, meaning closer to your Zerg. Okay, not, I should say right in front of the clump, maybe. The reason for it is because what you're trying to cleanse is you're trying to cleanse these guys as they're coming in, because the enemy Zergs, look at these tanks, right? They're gonna try to like Grove Keeper or Grail Seeker or whatever across this way, right? So essentially you want to cleanse this area because this is the area that the D tanks are gonna try to stop. All right, that's what you're trying to do. You're not actually trying to cleanse the clump. You don't give a damn about the clump. You're trying to cleanse your guys as they're coming into the clump. And so it's well positioned. I think it should be a little bit farther northeast, but it's well positioned and it's well timed. And that's very important. It's the timing is very, very important. Now let's see what happens here.
3, 2, 1 on the tanks, on the tanks, on the tanks inside of us, on the tanks inside of us, on the tanks inside of us. Blow up these tanks.
Now it ended. His Zerg is still kind of going in, maybe coming out, right? The enemy Zerg is actually responding very quickly. Okay, and so what you want to do is you have a cleanse and you have a Q, right? Drop a cleanse, drop a shield Q here.
Well, these tanks, second engage is coming in. Second engage is coming in. Defensive, defense.
Nope. Instead, he just walks back and then he uses his assassin hood, right? And it's like, listen, you have the Q, you have the W, use it. It's very, very important. I don't care if you're a disengaged tank or an engaged tank. I don't care. You have the skills. Use them when they're needed. Don't just like shut your brain off and just do what they're telling you. Venerancer says Syndic. Syndic is a good caller. Syndic is a good caller. Again, I wouldn't say he's an elite caller. There's no elite callers right now in the game. There's no elite callers in the game right now. Okay. If we're talking about in relation to the rest of the entire like history of the game, there's no caller that I would say hits that mark right now. There just isn't. Okay. Syndic is a very, very, very good caller because he's a very how do I say this? He's a very realistic caller. And what I mean by that is that he doesn't let his emotions get in the way of making the right decision. If he sees a fight is lost, he literally is just like, all right, we're done. Let's get the fuck out. And people are like, oh, we still have 30%. It's like, yeah, but the fight's lost. I don't give a fuck. Let's go. Right? And that's the point. And so many callers, you'll see this over and over. So many callers do this where they go and like, oh yeah, we still have 30%. We can still fight. And it's like, no, you can't. No, you can't. You know you can't. You just lost all your healers. Or you just lost all your tanks. Or you just lost all your DPS. Or whatever it is, right? And they still keep fighting anyway. And it's like, no, you're doing the wrong thing. You got to keep your head in the game. You got to analyze. And that's one of the things that Syndic does. That if I'm going to put anyone at all in the elite category of calling when it comes to macro within a fight, right? It would be Syndic. Out of all callers in the game, it would be Syndic, 100%, right? Now, the things about Syndic is that in other aspects, he doesn't do as well, right? Now, he's elite when it comes to macro, absolutely. But in other aspects, he doesn't have the elite level when it comes to like certain defensives or offensive movements, and also like pivoting the Zerg and things like that, right? So yeah, but he's definitely up there. He's definitely up there because of that. Because macro is really hard. Macro is like one of the hardest things to do in this game. As a caller, it's literally one of the hardest things to do in this game. So, Venerancer says, not just that, but Judy just seems out of place for an offensive Locus. Might as well use Demon or at least Royal Jacket in order to save. Have some use. I understand what you're saying, but I don't like Demon Armor on people that I actually want them to live. And that's Locus. I don't want my Locuses dying. Okay, and I just don't believe in Demon that much. That's all it is. I just don't believe in Demon that much. I understand people love it. People think it's great. I just don't think it's I just don't think it's that important. I just don't think it's that important. That's all it is. Was in history of Albion, who were your top elite callers? Mojo, right? Obviously. Sucks is another one. They're both BA. Man, you're making me think. You're making me think. Mamono was up there for sure. Tamashi was up there as well. Absolutely. Gosh, I can't remember more, man. I can't remember more. It's your end, bud. Jotira. I mean, it's true, man. I give credit where it's due. Syndic is elite at macro. He is. But in some other aspects, sometimes he does make mistakes, right? And so it's kind of odd because usually callers will be great at everything and absolutely be dumpster fire at macro, right? And Syndic is actually amazing at macro, right? So yeah, I mean, like literally no one comes even close to Syndic when it comes to macro. Like that's just the truth, right? And that's one of the things that stops a lot of these callers. Like Del Negro. Del Negro is a perfect example. Okay, Del Negro as a caller is a pretty good caller, right? He's pretty solid in all the aspects. Okay, but when it comes to macro, Del Negro, shit, you might as well have a random calling for your macro, right? That's the truth. Like Del Negro's macro is just atrocious. Okay, but when it comes to like everything else about calling, like timing, tempo, movement of the Zerg, things like that, like he tends to do very well. Okay, understanding and analyzing his Zerg, he tends to do very well. But outside of that, like when it comes to macro, like he's just so bad, right? And Africa is more on the middle ground between all of them. He does a little bit of macro, he does a little bit of positioning, a little bit of tempo, right? So all these different things, that's why it's hard to say that any of them are elite, because none of them are elite across the board. All right, anyway, we took too much time. I'm gonna keep going.
Defensives. We're gonna bomb on the guys inside of us. Q's and W's on the guys inside of us. Kill the guys inside of us. Kill the guys inside of us. Kill the guys inside of us. Good kills. Just hold. Tanks hold up the front. Tanks hold 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 the front. They're coming in. Second engage. Defensives.
See, now he used the cleanse though. I actually like that he used this cleanse here. He did it a little early, I would say. I would have waited a slight second more. But either way, it was good. I mean, he's using his W. The problem I have is that he never uses his Q. I mean, he'll use it sometimes in the fight, but he doesn't use it much.
Defensive. We're gonna counter engage south.
Like here, he walked up west. He might as well drop that Judicator armor because it's gonna be close to the choke, right? He might as well drop that. Like, there's a lot of little things that Devo here. Devo is the name of this guy that we're following. There's a lot of things that Devo here could be doing that he's just not doing.
South in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 on the front.
But again, when it comes to the actual engage, look at the timing, right? Perfectly placed Locus, perfect timing. Okay, he got that angle. He's perfectly on time. He's doing it right. Okay, now it's up to the rest of the Zerg if they're gonna hit the clump or not. But he did his job.
On the front, it's huge. Blow the shot. Great damage.
He wastes the whole channel. Now what I would do if I was him here, I would drop a Q on somebody that's up there in the front, just to be helpful, and then walk back a little bit and use your assassin hood.
Well, it's great damage in your back. Tanks hold the choke. Good job, Sevens to try. Tanks hold the choke. Don't give it the choke. We need heals up front. We're still low up front. We just need heals on front, boys. We need heals on front. Watch the east.
Yep,
I need my Grail Seeker to watch the east. Keep an eye on the east, boys. Keep an eye on the east.
Jotira says, it triggers me he's not using Judy armor. Yeah, man, like you have it. You dropping it helps not just with resistances, but you also got to remember it also helps with the heals, man. And it helps a lot with the heals. You drop that shit, just drop it on cooldown next to your Zerg, on top of your Zerg. Whenever you see your Zerg getting low or whatever, help the healers out, man. Help them heal better, right? Like, it's there. You might as well use it. You also have Assassin Hood, so it's not like you're going to have it down for too long. Veneras says, macro when you play with 79 Demon Fang DPS. Yeah, like macro is super important, man. Macro is absolutely important. I don't care what you play. You can say, oh yeah, they're just running into each other and whatever. Yeah, that's what it looks like. But the truth is that there's a lot more that can be done if you play your macro properly. Even if you are inside of each other. Anyway, I'm gonna keep going.
Keep an eye on these. They've kidnapped 7th. They're bombing.
He used the shield on himself for the first time.
On our tank.
He used the cleanse up in the front. That's good.
So bombing on our tank. We're gonna engage on their tanks very soon. Just hold. Just hold, boys. Just hold. Just hold here. Just hold here. They've only got 6 minutes to come in. They've only got 6 minutes. Maybe queue up.
See this guy? He just saw this guy. This guy down here, he was burning over here on the southeast, right? And it's like you see him, drop a Q on him, help the healers out, right? Like there's so many little things that you got to do better as a player, as a Locus here. Like there are so many things that you guys can do to make sure you guys are being effective, right? He's under no pressure, nothing, and he's just ignoring these things that are happening around him. Don't do that, right? Be active in the fight. Make sure you're using, just because you're using your E perfectly, and this is a perfect example. I should say this actually. This is a perfect example. There's a point in which a new player becomes an average player, okay? That point from new player to average player is the point in which that new player learns to use his E appropriately, okay? Then to jump from an average player to a good player, you need to learn how to use your Q and W as well, okay? So Devo here is the perfect example of an average player. He hits that E on time, on the right spot every time, and that's great. But when it comes to the Qs and Ws, they're just like non-existent, almost non-existent, right? And so that's my point, right? It's like that's how I would assess an average player. Is that he's using his E's, but he's not using everything else.
Queue up and walk out. 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 Yeah.
They're giving info about enemies coming in from the far southeast down here.
Okay. Just spread. Get my grass to stop that. Just spread. They're coming in. They're engaging.
Now they're engaging here, and it's like you're backing up. That's fine. Use your Judicator. Like you could have used your Judicator right here. You were standing there, right? But instead, you're gonna let all these people take all that damage for no reason. Oh, but don't worry, you shielded yourself, and that's it. Like it's so selfish the way he's playing right now.
Great stop, boys. We're gonna counter.
Now he places it, but it's like it's a little late. I guess he placed it, right? I guess take the good, you know.
It's south in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 on their tanks.
So this time he actually puts his Locus a little too far to the north. He could have walked a little bit farther south. One of the things he's not doing, he's not using his sprint. Listen, he's trying to use his sprint to reset his cooldown. That's fine. But every once in a while, you're going to need to use your sprint to run up there and get in a better position. And this is one of those times. Had he used his sprint, he would have gotten to this wall and then cleansed in a perfect spot.
On the tanks in the choke. Just kill their tanks.
Now they're coming back, right? He should be ready to drop a cleanse on them.
And back at it.
Instead, look what's happening. He's saying back, right? The collar's all the way down here, right? The collar's all the way down here. You can see his crown, right? And so his collar's all the way down here. There's people on the choke. And what is he doing? He's channeling his fucking assassin hood. Like, why? What's the purpose of this? Like, you have a W up, use the W here, or use the W on your collar that's overextended.
Back it out. You're overstaying. Back it out.
Now he uses it. I mean, it's a little late, right? It's like, don't be so eager to just drop your assassin hood, man. Sometimes make sure your Zerg comes back safe and then use your assassin hood. Either way, your assassin hood is gonna reduce the cooldown the same amount. It doesn't matter. Okay, so do what you need to do and then use your assassin hood.
If you died, re-gear, come back.
Jotita says refreshing on the shoes instead of mercenary shoes. I don't mind it, bro. I don't mind it. Listen, refreshing. People forgot how important cooldown reduction is in this game, man. This is why so many people don't use omelets anymore and things like that. Like, cooldown reduction is absolutely critical in this game, but so many people just don't do it anymore. I don't mind it at all. I like it, if anything. Shit, I run refreshing sprint when I run when I play Brimstone, which is like once every 5 months. But when I do play Brimstone, I run refreshing sprint 100%.
Come back. If you die, re-gear, come back. Tank, hold the choke. Hold the choke.
Thank you.
Alright, I've got no map.
We need heals up front. Boys. We need heals up front.
Now, pay attention to name tags. Remember, I've tried teaching you guys a little bit, but this is another example, okay? Look at the name tags, all right? Well, I'm gonna rewind it a little bit, and I want you guys to pay attention to these name tags. So look at the name tags here, okay? Get ready.
Thank you.
Alright, I've got no map.
We need.
All right, look at the name tags, okay? I want you guys to pay attention, see what they do, and this is going to tell you a lot about the enemy movement.
We need heals up front. We need heals up front, boys. We need heals up front. We need heals on front. We need heals on the tank line.
You see that? Right? Basically, we saw the name tags move to the east. A lot of name tags. Okay? Which means what? A flank is coming from the east. And you don't have a lot defending the east, do you? So therefore, as the caller here, Morloa, you should know, because I'm certain he saw the name tags too. Okay? He should call his Zerg to back up because he knows there's a flank coming from the east. Right? I would even go to tower at this point. I wouldn't give a fuck. I would go to tower. Absolutely. Okay? Because he's not ready for defending this. He's just not. Now, when it comes to Devo here, our Locus player, the best advice I can say is walk up north and be ready to defensive Locus because this is going to be critical. Okay, I know you're offensive Locus, but you sometimes, like I said, sometimes you got to do defensive Locus. And so this is going to be one of those moments.
There we go. Tank hold the choke. Fuck, these guys have so many tanks. How big was their disarray?
30 something, right?
30 something. They're down to 26.
I have no idea what he's doing over here in the west. I like absolutely no idea.
Okay. Tanks hold the choke. We've killed so many of them already. Just tanks hold this choke. Regear and come back if you die. Regear and come back if you die. Tanks hold the choke. Tanks hold the choke.
Southeast repeat.
Tanks hold the choke.
See, they're calling out southeast again, right? I don't see the name tags here. Maybe they backed off.
Choke.
But they are calling out southeast something.
Tanks hold the choke. Yeah. Thanks. They're engaging deep. When engage on the choke in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 on the choke.
Another perfectly on time. This time he actually used his cleanse nicely. But now another perfectly on time, perfect position for the Locust. Here's the problem. He's getting shot at, right? He's getting shot at. Okay, he's getting hit by a siege bow, he's getting hit by a longbow, and something else that I can't tell what it is, right? So he's getting hit, and what I would do is I would keep that channel going because you want to keep that channel going as long as you can so that your Zerg can have the best chances to counter effectively. But you do want to cancel it if you're getting close to dying. So you got to pay attention here. Let's see what he does.
On the check, please go.
He cancels it halfway through, and he's still about 80% HP. I don't mind it too much, but it could have been a little bit better. I think he would have survived this hit. I think the end of the damage is here. I think he's not going to get hit anymore, at least not a lot. And so he could have gotten away with the entire channel.
Guys up on the check, blow these guys up on the check,
Yeah, see there. I mean, Brimstone landed, but that wasn't going to kill him.
Get rid of their tanks. In your back. Don't overstay.
See, they're saying southeast engaging. Now they're telling him now, right? We saw the rotation earlier, and I don't know what the fuck they were doing the entire time, but we saw the rotation earlier, and now southeast engaging.
They're going west, they're going east. There's a couple going east.
So he moves north. I like this because he can run up to the tower if he needs to. I like this. He also has a good vision here.
There's a couple going east. How many?
They're going east.
But now they're engaging, and look what he does. Nothing. Now I do want to notice another thing. Look, you see these reds? This is so important. You guys gotta pay attention to off-screen name tags, man. This is terrible. You see this up there, and you don't like why there shouldn't be that many reds up there. Like, that's just the truth, right? There shouldn't be that many reds up there. And so you're not helping Southwest, but you're also not paying attention to Northeast because you're not even going to relay it or nothing.
Still west.
He dropped the cleanse. Again, no Q, nothing.
Just spread. We ready to come back. They're coming in. They're full engaging. Defensive.
He's getting engaged on again, and again, he's not using his Locus.
Defensive. We're going to engage deep to the south. Deep to the south in 5, deep to the south in 4, 3.
Now he's using his Locus offensively, right? So this guy takes his job to heart. And it's like, man, this is so bad. Had he used his Locus defensively when he got engaged on East, right? He probably would have helped save people on the East. And then he would have had time to channel his Assassin Hood and his Refreshing Sprint and probably would have had his E up by this time as well, right? For the engage. Even if he didn't, it's okay. It's better to have a bad engage than to have your people die when the enemy's engaging. Okay, so here it's just like the way he's using his cooldown. It's just way too much sticking to that one job, and that's it.
2, 1 on the choke, on the choke, on the choke. It's massive, it's massive, it's massive. Blow the shit up, blow the shit up, blow the shit up. Punish him, punish him, punish him, punish him, punish him, punish him, punish him. And come back north, come back north, come back north. We need to go deep north, deep north, deep north.
Careful north.
Deep north, deep north, deep north, deep north, deep north. Light got a...
There's that flank from the northeast, right? That's the one we just saw. That was coming from the far northeast. Okay, so there's that. He drops a Judy. I guess that helps. I mean, he doesn't have much other cooldowns up. I'm not gonna blame him. He does have the Q, I guess, but like, I mean, he doesn't have much.
From the north, like, but us from the north. We're being 3v1, boys. We're being 3v1. Oi, oi, oi.
Now, this call from the caller here, I don't like it. I don't like this call from the caller here. Because he sends his Zerg up to the northwest, and they're kind of in a bad spot now.
Don't stay here. Come up northeast, come up northeast, come up northeast. We need heals, we need heals.
He's gonna walk across, and it's like, look at these guys just walk in, and they're like, if these guys from the south blow up over the wall, they can literally one-shot you. Like, this is, remember when we were talking about critical mistakes earlier? This is a critical mistake too.
We need heals. Come up northeast, come up northeast, come up northeast. We're gonna be bombed over the wall. Keep coming northeast, keep coming northeast. Pop your boots if you have to. Pop your boots if you have to. Pop
He's lucky they just full engaged on the D-tanks.
your boots if you have to. We need to hold this choke, we need to hold this choke. I need a defensive tank to the north and my other tanks to the south. My other tanks to the south, defensive tanks to the north. My other tanks, any other tanks with me, I need them to the south. Rizzo, you need to hold this south with me. Remember to pop your chest, remember to pop your chest.
Somehow they're able to stabilize in the north. I mean, this is crazy. Like the fact that the other flanks just backed off, it's crazy.
We need tanks holding south, tanks holding the south. Nuclear Nadal, you need to go hold the north, bro. You need to go hold the north. See, if you die, Riga, come back. If you die, Riga, come back. They're gonna come in soon. They don't have these guys don't have that many tanks left. These guys don't have that many. Yeah, don't stand near that northeast wall. Don't stand near that northeast wall. Tanks hold this choke. 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 We only have to hold for 3 more minutes, boys. We only have to hold for 3 more minutes. These guys only got like 5 tanks left. We've only got like 5 tanks left. Tanks hold this choke.
So he's looking at the mini map, right? He's looking at the mini map because he's trying to see like where exactly that other blob is positioned. He's also trying to see like what's around and things like that. You know the layout of the territory, obviously. I mean, and if you don't, then sure, looking at the mini map is fine. But either way, you're kind of looking at what's going on. What are the options here? And that's fine. That's always a good thing.
Choke. Tanks hold this choke.
Now, I will say he's way too far to the north here. Again, I know he's offensive Locus, but like sometimes you might have to do defensive. Either way, you should be near the front just to make sure that you have that defensive Locus if it's absolutely needed.
They're gonna be looking to come in, so they're coming in, they're engaging on our front, We're gonna counter engage on the choke and fight.
See, they're engaging, and he doesn't use a Q or a W. Why? Because he's nowhere near it. Like, there's no reason to play like this. Like, come up forward, look at your Zerg, look at the enemy Zerg, and try to be as useful as you can. Even a Q can save somebody.
5 on the choke in 4, 3, 2, 1 on the choke, 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 on the choke. Kill these guys, kill these guys, kill these guys, kill this. And you're back, and you're back.
That Locus was a little too far to the north. He should have put it a little bit south. He should have put it down here. But instead, remember, he was so far back this entire time. I don't know if he's scared or whatever, but he's so far back. He should have placed it on the choke. Instead, he places it up here, right? So it's not optimal again.
Back, and you're back, and you're back. Watch for the counter, watch for the counter, watch for the counter, watch for the counter, and you're back.
The enemy's engaging. He gets caught in the engage, and it's like he's not dropping a cleanse down here or anything. He's just trying to save himself, right?
Back, and you're back, and you're back. Defensive, boys. Defensives are back out. Defensives are back out. We need defensives and holding the north. We need defensives and holding north. They're coming up inside of us. They're coming up inside of us. Coming up inside of us.
See what he just did there? He clicked on one guy and he inspected him. That is beautiful. That is beautiful. Because that tells you what kind of comp are they. If you inspect and there are like a bunch of siege bows, then you know it's siege bow bomb squad. You inspect and you see an occult staff like we did right now, then you know for a fact it's a bomb squad, right? So things like that will tell you a lot of information about what kind of bomb are they.
We're gonna engage inside of us. We're gonna engage inside of us. Shut up. We're gonna engage inside of us to 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inside of us, in the center, in the center, in the center, inside of us, inside. Hit him with everything. Hit him with everything. Hit him with everything. Go down fighting. Go down fighting.
His Locus is late, but that's because of his cooldown. Either way, it's fine. I don't mind him using it here. It also gives resistances, and right now it's like a back and forth. So this is good.
Let's go down fighting. Roll it out. Q's and W's. Q's and W's. Roll it out. Force these guys off. Force these fuckers off. Force these fuckers off the tower. Force these fuckers off the tower.
He's using his shield more, his W more now.
Keep riding.
He should drop his Judy.
And they're counter-engaging. They're counter-engaging. They're counter-engaging. They're counter.
He doesn't end up dropping it. Instead, he could have dropped it on a bunch of his friends. Instead, he walks away from them and drops it on one other guy. Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, just hold. Don't run away, boys. Don't run away. Don't run away. We're going to counter-engage in 4 seconds. Heals them below. Heals them below. We're going to counter-engage to the east in 4 seconds.
Here, he's just walking, not using his sprint. Again, his sprint helps with cooldowns. Just use it. Use it. That way you can help this at least a couple seconds faster.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1 to the east, to the east, to the east. Send everything you've got, everything you got, everything you got left, everything you got left, everything you got left, everything you got here. And heals, 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 and heals. Heal us up, heal us up, heal us up, heal us up. We got one healer, we got one healer.
And look at this. When I watched this, I was like, bro, what? Look at this Fallen, man, right? And he just decides to stand away from it. I have no idea why. Like, you're low on HP. You need that heal. I don't know. I don't understand what he's doing.
We got reset. We got reset here.
Look at that. He just wants to make the job of the healers harder, man.
Yeah, get ready to engage to the southeast. Get ready to engage to the southeast. They're almost down. They're almost down. They're almost there. We're gonna engage to the south. 5, 4.
Again, he's so far to the north. He has 0% vision on the enemy, except for the name tags, and that's it. And it's like, the caller's engaging right now. Where's your Locus? Now you're being late because you keep standing so far back. Why is he standing so far back? It's because he started playing scared, right? He was doing perfect when he wasn't playing scared. Now suddenly that his Zerg got pushed back a little bit, he took some losses. Now suddenly he's playing scared, so he stands so far back and he starts playing like shit.
3, 2, 1 to the south, to the south, to the south. Finish these guys, finish these guys, finish these guys, finish.
At that point, he was channeling the fucking Assassin Hood. He might as well should have just finished the channel at that point.
Finish these guys, finish these guys. Finish these guys. And you're back, 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 and you're back. Back to the north, back to the north, back to the north, back to the north. Get ready to channel in that tower. Get ready to channel in that tower. Take it. Just hold the chokes. Spread out wide, boys. Spread out wide and hold the chokes. Hold the chokes. Hold the chokes. Hold the chokes. Spread out wide, boys. Spread out wide. Spread out wide. Spread. Yeah, hold the chokes. 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 Now, cap. Keep it.
So what happened here is that, remember those flanks that were flanking them? Those flanks basically rotated around and started flanking their main enemy that they were fighting the entire time. And they basically wiped them, and then everybody kind of dipped out. So that's the end of the fight. I'll let you guys keep listening because it's pretty cool, man. They get excited and stuff that they won the fight, right? And you know, especially when you're barely like learning the game and you're a small guild and you're working really hard to try to make your guild, something, right? You're trying to work really hard to try to like become a good guild, a strong guild, a respectable guild, right? And it's very exciting when things go your way and you finally start seeing the results of your training and your efforts, right? So I always like listening to these things, man. When people get really excited that they win a fight, it's awesome.
Keep a night helmet on him. Keep a night helmet. Someone night helmet him. Someone put guard rune underneath him. Guard rune underneath Tekkanen. Guard rune underneath Tekkanen. Defensives on tech. 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 Somebody fucking helmet him.
What a fucking fight. Holy shit. That was fucking insane. And we won.
That was beautiful.
Excellent.
Yeah, we got Shut up. Loot up and put it in the tower. Loot up and put it in the tower. Loot everything, put it in the tower.
Wait, did you guys win that?
Yeah, loot everything, put it in the tower. Put it in the tower. Vacuum it up.
Here comes. Dodgers are backing. I repeat, they are backing. They're TPing out.
All right, so anyway, I like listening to that, man. It's awesome. I remember when you know, when I was barely learning the game, you know, I mean, I started playing when the game started, right? So a lot of people, I mean, the majority of the players were learning the game and stuff. But I remember, you know, with Arch, that's when I first started calling, was with Arch. And the first few fights that like we actually started winning fights, like that were good fights. It was just exciting, man. It was just really fun, you know. And you never get that exact same feeling back, you know, when you first accomplish, you know, something, right, in the game. And that to me is like what we love. That's what we love doing, you know. Like that's what we love playing the game for. So I'm glad that these guys had a good time. But yeah, essentially. That's it for the 2 videos. We saw Locus. I believe it was East server. The guild is Anzec. Okay, so if you're on the East server, they sound Australian. If you're looking for a good guild, Anzec might be a good option for you if you're on the East server. The reason I say it is because that caller, man, like even when they were excited and everything and all this stuff, the caller was like, yo, chill. Like there's still enemies on the field, you know, like we still got to keep our game phases on. You know what I mean? Like he kept the boys cool. And it's not that he's being a killjoy. It's not like he's being lame. Like, oh man, you're annoying or whatever. Like, no, man. It's like, you know, he understands that the business is still going, right? And so that's a good sign that he's not letting himself just, you know, get all excited and jump around before, you know, everything's actually settled. So again, a lot of really good signs of a great caller. Morlow, I think it was called Morlow, something like that. His name is. Yeah, I hope to see more fights from him. I'll keep an eye on fights from this guild Anzec and see if maybe in a few weeks, maybe in a couple months, we can see another fight from them and see how they're progressing, because it would be nice to see what guilds kind of come up on the East server. On the other hand, we did see Paura, you know, from West server. Paura, from a Grove Keeper perspective, we saw Groves. He did a great job, man. I mean, he's a good player. He just kind of loots too much, and it does affect his gameplay. It absolutely does affect his gameplay. But he's still a good player. Paura, as a whole, is in my opinion, again, the best Zerg right now. Noob Slayer is a good caller. He's an above-average caller, like I said. You know, he's not absolutely elite or critical, but you know, he's good. He's absolutely good. Like there are tons of really bad callers in the game, and he's definitely on the upper end. So yeah, Paura is really strong right now. We'll see how long they can stay this way, though. I know a lot of times guilds get strong for a week or two, and then suddenly they start to kind of disappear. So we'll see. All right. Any questions, comments, concerns? Drop them in the chat right now. Otherwise, we're gonna start to head off, because we're 4 minutes away from the 2-hour mark, and I don't like going over 2 hours. So I'll give you guys a minute. The next episode is gonna be on Friday, and on Saturday we will not be doing the episode on Saturday. The episode for Saturday, we're actually gonna be doing it next Monday. Okay. I have a family event that I'm going to on Saturday, so I will not be able to stay to the schedule that day, unfortunately. But it's all right. We'll do it on next Monday. All right. Last questions, comments, concerns. Nothing. Thanks for the stream, like always. Yeah, I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you. I hope you guys are learning things. Jotita went running to Syndic, telling him that I was talking shit. You know, that's the thing, man. When people are talking about guilds or talking about callers and stuff, so many times people think that like you have to say that somebody is like the absolute best just because, you know, they're your friend, or because they're your guild, or because they're your whatever. Like the truth is I don't care, man. I gotta be objective. I gotta tell you guys the truth. It's just, it is what it is, you know. Everybody's got pros and cons, and that's just the way it is. All right, I appreciate all of you. Let's close it up. I'll see you guys on Friday. And let's see. I'm thinking if I have any other ones. I feel like I have something else to say. There was something else I wanted to say. Oh well. I guess I'll remember, and I'll tell you guys on Friday. I'll see you guys in the next one.